Members of Parliament will this coming week vote on an independent panel report into Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office. The panel found prima facie evidence of incompetence against the Public Protector, but a weekend report by the Sunday Times says the ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule has thrown his support behind Mkhwebane. Newzroom Afrika's Atim Tongana has more.
Members of Parliament are expected to start voting on a report on whether there should be an impeachment inquiry against Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane. ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule has reportedly appealed to party MPs to oppose attempts to remove Mkhwebane from office. Some ANC members took to social media to share their views on the matter. But some aren't singing the same tune. Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula says the ANC NEC has not resolved to defend Mkhwebane, while Derek Hanegom also came out to say that opposition parties aren't the enemy. The ANC's parliamentary caucus says it won't comment on the matter at this stage. Last year, the Democratic Alliance's Chief Whip Natasha Mazone laid a formal complaint against Mkhwebane in Parliament. The National Assembly gave way for the DA's motion to oust Mkhwebane and approved rules for the impeachment of a head of a Chapter 9 institution. The Western Cape High Court dismissed Mkhwebane's attempt to halt the process. An independent panel comprising of Justice Beth Nkabinde, Advocate Dumisa Ntsebeza and Advocate Johan de Waal found that there's a prima facie case to institute removal proceedings against the Public Protector. The DA welcomed the 119-panel page report, saying Mkhwebane's tenure has been marred by damning court findings where her fitness has been called into question. With 44 MPs, the EFF has publicly placed on record its support for Mkhwebane. In a statement, the ATM in Parliament has also rejected the motion of no confidence against the Public Protector. With a majority of 230 MPs in the House, it's still unclear which way the ANC will vote. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Atim Tongana in Cape Town.
Well, to speak to us more about the story, we're joined by the Chief Whip of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, Mervyn Dirks. Mervyn, good evening and thank you so much for your time on News at Prime. Firstly, just taking a look through your Twitter feed, you've made your position very clear. As an ANC MP, I will never support a DA motion to remove the Public Protector. In fact, as a matter of principle, I will fight any attempt to remove the Public Protector by whoever. How did you get to this position?
Good evening and good evening to your readers at home. Firstly, let me say on the issue of the Public Protector that the Public Protector is under attack because she investigated very powerful people in this country, and today she must face the music. Now, when the DA brought this motion to Parliament, this motion was not discussed with us parliamentarians. It was not tabled at Parliament. It was submitted to the office of the Speaker. And I believe that this thing was very carefully stage managed. When it was submitted to the office of the Speaker, Parliament then set up the so-called independent committee to investigate and then submit a report back to us as Parliament. Now, we already knew what the outcome will be. That there will be a prima facie case when this report comes back to us. And today, the report is in front of us. There's a prima facie case, the report states, and we expected that. So we believe this thing was stage managed very carefully within Parliament, and to then produce a particular outcome for us then to decide on in Parliament. And therefore, I cannot support.
Stage managed by who? Because you rightly point out that it ended up in the Speaker's office, and I suppose it becomes important then that the Speaker is also a member of the ANC. So when you say that this was stage managed, who was involved in this process?
No, the reason why I say it was stage managed, because if there was any fairness and transparency and openness in this matter of the DA's motion. It was going to be tabled. That motion of the DA was going to be brought to Parliament, to us, for a decision, but that did not happen. Instead, the so-called independent committee gets set up, and now there we have this particular outcome that will be brought before Parliament for us to decide on.
Are you saying that the Speaker was not fair in her response and in terms of how she dealt with this matter?
No, I'm not saying that the Speaker was not fair. I'm saying that whoever advised on the matter in Parliament, the administration of that Parliament, whoever advised on the matter, there was no fairness, there was no transparency.
Mr. Mkhwebane, of course, you're talking about your colleagues here. So for me, and part of what you're saying right now remains a conspiracy. But it's very important that you're able to flesh out what you believe the events were in order to provide some level of credibility to the allegations that you're making, which of course would be very serious allegations, not just against your colleagues in Parliament, but very well against the Speaker of Parliament as well, because she's been the one that has been leading this process.
No, I'm not making any allegations against anyone.
But you've just said it was staged. You've just said it was staged. It's a deliberate a deliberate plot to attack the Public Protector.
I'm standing by what I'm saying, that it is clearly stage managed. Because if it was not stage managed, it was going to be brought to Parliament for Parliament to take a decision on the way forward. We as parliamentarians did not decide on the way forward on the DA motion. We read in the paper that DA have submitted a motion to the Speaker. We expect that motion to come to Parliament so that we can take a decision on it. It never came to Parliament. Next thing we hear, there is a committee that will be set up, and people will be appointed on that committee then to decide whether there's going to be whether there's a prima facie case against the Public Protector. Now, if there was fairness and transparency, it was going to be brought to us parliamentarians to take a decision on this motion.
So then who are you going to raise this issue with? As an MP, who are you going to raise this issue with?
You see, unfortunately, this matter was never ever brought before us as MPs. It was never brought to Parliament. It has never been brought to the ANC caucus. So I did not have an opportunity yet to raise it.
But you could have raised it if, in fact, you believed, that the process was wrong from the get-go. You would have raised it within the caucus of the ANC the very first time that you heard about it.
Let me explain to you how processes in Parliament works. You can't raise anything in Parliament or in Parliament committees if it's not before Parliament or if it's not before the committees of Parliament. You cannot raise anything in the ANC caucus if it's not tabled. So it has never been tabled anyway. So I did not have an opportunity to raise my issues regarding the Public Protector. But I believe now that it's going to be tabled at Parliament, I will have an opportunity to raise my views on the matter in Parliament and within the ANC caucus.
Let's talk then about the actual issue that Parliament is now going to be tasked with, which is this independent panel review that has found that there is prima facie evidence that there is a case for the Public Protector to answer when it comes to the issue of misconduct and incompetence. This panel, of course, citing multiple cases which it has used as its evidence to substantiate why it believes she has this case to answer to. And you're saying that you're going to block, are you going to block the inquiry into her?
No. I did not say I'm going to block anything. I'm saying that I will not support this motion. When it comes to Parliament, I will vote against it. I will not vote. I will vote that this thing gets finished there and there in Parliament. I will not support it when it comes to Parliament. Now, you are saying that in the report she raised the reason why she finds a prima facie case against the Public Protector. She raised some investigation the report raised some investigations that she conducted, and you're not mentioning to the viewers what is those cases that are being raised there. The first one that's been raised in that report is that the case against our President Ramaphosa on the CR17 election funds. That's one of it. The other one that has been raised in that report is the issue about the funding that was monies that was stolen from the Reserve Bank prior 1994. Now, it's clear that the public protector is under attack because of investigating very powerful people in this country.
So, Mr. Dirks, just to be clear, there's now not only a conspiracy within Parliament around how this independent review panel was put together, but you're now saying there's a conspiracy with the former Constitutional Court Justice Jason Kabinde, Advocate Dumisa Nzebeza, who's senior counsel, and Advocate Duval, who was also part of this process, also senior counsel, and you're saying that they too are part of this conspiracy because the report that they have put together is not credible.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So then what are you saying?
No, you are saying that there is a conspiracy here. You are saying that there is a conspiracy. I have stated facts to you. You do not want to accept.
Until you prove that these are facts, they remain a conspiracy, Mr. Dirks. So what I'm saying to you is that we have this report that has been put together by very senior legal minds in the country, and it is now up to Parliament to see what it does with this report. The recommendation is that there must be an inquiry into the public protector. You are saying that that shouldn't happen. Is it because you don't? What are you saying then?
No, well, you are saying that there's a conspiracy. I am stating facts to you. I said when the DA submitted this motion to Parliament, the proper and the right thing to do was to bring it to Parliament for us as members of Parliament to take a decision on it. That did not happen. To set up an independent committee, that decision to set up an independent committee was not a decision of Parliament. It was not my decision. It was never discussed in Parliament. We did not decide to set up an independent committee. To appoint those people, those names that was put on the independent committee, it was not decided by us in Parliament. As a member of Parliament, we did not decide on who should serve on that committee. So I'm saying the whole process was flawed.
And I'm pointing you to the findings of the report now, because you've made that point already. I'm moving on from that point to the findings of this report.
What I'm saying, I say that we cannot discuss those findings because the process was flawed. So therefore, those findings should not be entertained. The DA motion must be brought back to Parliament.
So are you saying that the findings of this report, are you saying that the findings of this report don't worry you at all, and that as somebody who is an MP and who is a custodian of oversight of Chapter 9 institutions, you are not worried at all about the findings of a report by senior legal counsel in this country about the public protector of this country?
I am saying to you that the process was flawed. I am saying to you that the DA motion was supposed to be brought to Parliament for us as members of Parliament to take a decision on the matter. That did not happen. Now you want to start a flawed process. At the end of your flawed process, you want to bring this report to us for us now to deliberate on a report that we had no input on. I believe the process was flawed. And by the way,
let's talk about something else that is on your timeline, and this is around the Secretary General of the ANC rather. This is Esma Khashule, and I believe the story that the Sunday Times is also running today. You've retweeted somebody who's been talking about this as well, an MP who says that she will comply effectively with what is being reported by the Sunday Times, that the Secretary General has said no ANC MP must vote in favor of any inquiry by Parliament into the public protector. Have you received any instruction officially from the party on this issue?
No, When I read the article in the Sunday Times today, the SG did not say that ANC MPs must not vote against any inquiry in Parliament. The SG said that we cannot vote with the DA. That's what the SG said. They said members of the ANC in Parliament cannot vote with the DA. He did not say that the ANC members should not vote against any inquiry. That's not what the SG said.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly then, are you saying that, but of course you have a different view because you've said whoever attempts to remove the public protector, so even if it was an ANC motion, you wouldn't support it?
If it was an ANC motion, it was first going to be discussed in the ANC caucus, and I was going to have an input in it. And if my views did not hold in the ANC caucus, then I'm bound by the majority.
Have you officially received any instruction about how to vote then this week on this matter?
We have not received any official instruction, but we know in the ANC we don't vote with the opposition. We do not vote with neoliberals. We will never vote with the DA in the ANC.
How divided do you think the ANC caucus is going to be over this matter?
The ANC caucus is never divided. In the ANC caucus, we discuss issues, get tabled at the ANC caucus, and ANC members express their views in the caucus, and thereafter we come to some agreement. There's no ever division in the ANC caucus. We debate matters in the ANC caucus, and the majority view holds at the end of the day.
Have you discussed this matter yet?
But I have raised you earlier on the problem I have with the matter, how the matter was processed in Parliament.
Yes, but I'm talking about the voting that is scheduled to take place. Has that been under discussion?
This matter was never discussed in the ANC. It was never discussed in Parliament, and that's why I have raised in the beginning with you the problem I had with how the matter was processed in Parliament. I believe the matter was processed totally wrong in Parliament, and that has never been discussed in Parliament. It's never been discussed in the ANC caucus. Never been discussed anywhere. Now we have this report, which will, when it comes to the ANC caucus, we'll discuss it and we'll decide. We'll come to a decision in the ANC caucus. But my views are very clear. I do not support this motion against the Public Protector.
ANC MP Mervyn Dix, that's his view, at least in terms of how he's going to respond on the issues that relate to the Public Protector. Thanks for your time on News at Prime tonight.